Adventure time, come on, grab your friends, we're going to very distant lands with Jake the dog and Finn the human. The fun will never end, it's adventure time. What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at the Adventure Time spin-offs before we reach Fiona and Cake. That fully comes out tomorrow, Thursday, the 28th of September, and today we're taking a look at Distant Lands, which is 4 episodes at 45 minutes each, and they are not connected to each other in any shape, way, or form. It is all about each individual character as a whole. We have an episode about BMO, an episode about Marceline and PB, Princess Bubblegum, another one about Finn and Jake, and then the last one is about Peppermint Butler. And I'll be taking a look at each of these episodes in this video, so I'm going to take them all in order. So episode 1, BMO, episode 2, PB and Marceline, episode 3, Finn and Jake, episode 4, Peppermint Butler. But the series as a whole is the ongoing adventures Finn and Jake, Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, BMO, and Peppermint Butler as they travel to distant magical lands. So with BMO's episode, it is obviously origin story for BMO, which I was not expecting. Finn and Jake, it is what happens after all their adventures. Marceline and Princess Bubblegum is what's happening right now as of the series ending. And Peppermint Butler is the most boring episode, the one that I'm really not a fan of. And is the last one, and where Peppermint Butler gets reincarnated. So yeah, each of these episodes is pretty cool. We get new characters, new interesting characters as well, might I add. But let's take a look at episode 1, BMO. So, BMO is on his way to Mars when an extraterrestrial knocks his spaceship off course, crash landing himself on a mysterious space planet called the Drift. So this one is basically where BMO is going to Mars to terraform Mars from Earth. Someone on Earth made him and sent him to Mars to terraform Mars. This alien that gets called Olive takes him to this place called the Drift, where he spends most of his time being the sheriff because he stops crime there and he's just doing basic missions. He gets tricked by Mr. M and gets trapped, and then his buddy friend saves him. But it is one of those stories where the buddy friend is only acting like his friend until obviously what he needs from BMO gets achieved, and then he doesn't want to be friends with BMO anymore, and he's just using BMO. Classic story, 10 things I hate about you, everything like that. Just pretending to be a friend until you have the use out of them, but actually growing a friendship during that time, and then mistakenly leaving BMO. A lot of TikTok sounds came from this as well. With the BMO dying scene, I did cry at this one. It did really upset me. I wasn't a big fan of Y5, who is the rabbit character here, but it did give a lot more information about BMO's origin, but it still leaves the mystery of who created BMO. He's always had this dual personality of BMO and football, with football being his reflection. And he's in a spaceship, and he can fix his spaceship, and he's going to terraform Mars with a potato. This episode was really cool, introduced us to a load of new characters, a load of new heroes with Y5, a load of new alien races, and just allowed the Adventure Time universe to explore a little more outside of Mars, explore a little more into the universe of Adventure Time and what aliens they can make, aliens they can create, and just stories they can do. But the evil alien is taking on stealing parts from each area of the ship and making them hit critical and fail, and BMO's just trying to save them. And the voice acting for this one is pretty decent. The animation for this one is also pretty decent. I do like the animation in this one, and I do like the voice acting in this one. I've missed BMO's voice so much. But the other new characters, I do recognize a couple of the voice actors, but I couldn't place them on anything. But the story for this one, pretty basic. I saw it coming. I saw every twist and turn that they tried to pull on us. BMO, again, isn't one of my favorite characters, but he is a nice recurring character in Adventure Time, so I do understand why they gave him an episode, and it is nice to learn more about his backstory. However, again, not my favorite episode. I am going to put it at placement 3. It is third out of 4, which is pretty weak for the first one, the opening one that's supposed to get you hooked. Coming back to animation, it is a constant through this series. It's the wholesome, beautiful, Adventure Time art style that I've come to grow, love, and know after watching it for so long. So I'm just going to talk about the animation style here because it's constant throughout the rest of the show, and it is just so beautiful and perfect. But moving on to episode 2, which is Obsidian, Marceline and Princess Bubblegum journey to the imposing, beautiful Glass Kingdom and deep into their tremendous past to prevent an earthquaking dragon. So here is Adventure Time Obsidian. How the episode starts is you're in the Glass Kingdom, you're introduced to an ancient tale where these guys worship Marceline like a god. They have stuffies, masks, a whole sort of parade, a whole event, a whole holiday about Marceline, and these choir boys, choir girls, the choir kids sing a song to keep this dragon asleep, and they've been doing it for centuries and centuries, which I think is pretty cool. Marceline is treated like a god and kept alive in this memory from her punk rock past. This little glass boy does go into the dungeon after reading a load of books and being ridiculed and bullied all his life. He goes into the dungeon, reawakens the beast, thinking Marceline killed it because he just wanted to fix his, he wanted to fix his broken part. He wanted to be whole again. He wanted people to stop bullying him. He woke up the dragon, and then he was sent on a quest by the princess and freed from his jail cell for reawaken the dragon. To find Marceline. He does get the help of Simon after making it to the Candy Kingdom and the goose, which was fucking hysterical, and he had some of the best jokes in this episode, not gonna lie. And Simon did take, obviously, the Glass Boy to Marceline and Princess Bubblegum, who then went to the Glass Kingdom. And we did get to learn even more about Marceline's troubled past. We learned more about her mum, and once they got to the Glass Kingdom, they had another argument, and it did keep having flashbacks to the past where they had the argument over this last time they tried to fight this together, and it did cause their first breakup. So we got some past information about Marceline and Princess Bubblegum's relationship, and we have how they're going and how they're doing now. We have a beautiful love song at the end as well with Marceline singing about Princess Bubblegum. We have the dragon turning from a lava monster to a beautiful ocean creature, and we have the dragon reminiscing with the love song. Again, another predictable episode. When Marceline was singing her song of hate and anger, I knew that it wasn't going to work and that they had to do a love song, but she tried to go back to her past, find some hatred, get that anger back to push this dragon back down. Princess Bubblegum just wanted to be respected by these glass people, wanted to be treated as like an equal, with her being like a queen and a scientist, wanted to be treated like they treat Marceline. So she was staying there, trying to do it all with science. Marceline then got a message from her mother. We learned more about her past, and with the inspirational song from Glass Boy and the monster destroying her bass, her guitar, her axe, she got the passion back to go and sing and help Princess Bubblegum, because Princess Bubblegum means more than her ex. So we got some very good love story going on here. Voice acting, absolutely perfect. Some more Princess Bubblegum and Marceline ship moments. I absolutely love these two together. I think they're really good and they work well as a couple. I think they're actually perfect. And it is one of the really good couples that I've one that I support throughout the entirety of Adventure Time. I just think it's so unique and so cool. And I don't know why, but I felt myself getting love story mushy, oh, they're so cute, that's adorable, they're perfect from each other. All that stuff when watching this episode, getting all lovey-dovey. And I was like, that's beautiful. Love at its finest. And just seeing how they worked well together at the start, and then going through this conflict of this dragon and them trying to do it in their own ways, like they did in the past, trying to do it on their own, doing it their own way, fighting against each other how to defeat this monster. It's just a really impactful love story, but it was quite obvious where it was going. It wasn't unique, but it's good to see our characters go through this. It shows the characters' growth. It shows our characters overcoming troubles together and doing really well together. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure where to put this one. It is tied for first with the next episode, which we're going to look at. But it's just such a good episode. I liked it. They should have started with this one. They should have really started with this one and broken it up a little bit, because goddamn, this one was near perfect, and the story was wholesome. It was just predictable. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. But even then, being predictable isn't bad. It was still a good story, but I didn't like how I could predict every little moment that was going to happen in it. Because I don't like that with Adventure Time. Adventure Time is this cool, mysterious land where they go on crazy, wacky adventures. I don't want to be able to predict the wackiness. It just upset me a little bit. That was all. But it was such a good love story, and I want more. I want more of them too. I'm going to go back and watch Adventure Time and watch it all the way through and get some more of them too, because they started off as enemies to lovers, and it's just a wholesome story. Right, anyway, moving on to the next episode. One more thing on this episode, I love Marceline's punk rock style, and I love all their outfits in this episode. They were so unique and so cool to see them in different outfits. But episode 3, together again, Finn and Jake rediscover their brotherly bond and embark on the most important adventure of their lives. So this starts off with a regular Adventure Time episode with Finn and Jake going on an adventure to get a 50 flavor ice cream. They then run into the Ice King, and he's stolen Turtle Princess and Lumpy Space Princess, and he's put them in this justice device to see who he's going to marry. Finn saves them both. Jake gets stuck in an ice block from Ice King, and Finn then does some other quests whilst carrying Jake around because Jake can't break free. We then go to save the library from worms being eaten. We then have them fist bump, Jake saying ow and it making a metallic sound, even though Finn doesn't have a metal arm yet. And that was my first twig. I was like, right, okay, this isn't set during normal Adventure Time. This is way later on when he has his metal arm. We then continue going, and a bird takes the last remaining worm. And then the bird also takes Finn, but then drops them at the treehouse before they get eaten. They land next to an open grave. Jake starts to crawl towards it. Finn is trying to stop him. Jake then melts and just goes in as a puddle of water. Finn is then having this really distraught, crying moment as he rips off this spider from his back, which is taking and drinking his brain juices and making him think of happy memories. I was also very emotional during that scene. I know it was 5 minutes in, but still, having Jake melt in front of you and seeing how distraught that made Finn was really upsetting. We have Finn then going through the, death, hell, heaven, afterlife, wherever, eternity, and he meets up with a fox, which I was quite excited to see. I don't know, seeing the fox was really cool. I just like the fox, and I like foxes in general, so him being Finn's guide was pretty cool. Finn is doing the clap sound, which is all the way back from way, way, way early in the season, which is Jake's signal for what they do if they lose each other after death. And Jake ends up going to the 50th death, the highest floor of death, and highest floor of eternity. And that's where he's living. And how you get there is you not wanting to go there, accepting death. And it's just so cool. So Finn is trying to get to the 50th floor, and he ends up meeting with his mum and his dad and his brother, who then tell him how to get there. He sits on the roof. Jake comes down after Finn throws an absolute, he was just in that much pain and that much sadness. And he was just throwing an absolute fit. And Jake came down and saw him and sat with him and was just messing around with him, saying that he doesn't remember him and he doesn't know who he is, and which just made him even more upset. They then go on a journey to fight Death himself, or New Death, because Death's son killed Death and now is taking over Death and wants to get rid of all the layers of eternity and just have one and stop reincarnation as a whole. So they go to Life and Peppermint Butler to ask for help on how to defeat death, and they end up getting the Kiss of Life, and the fox guy ends up killing death with the Kiss of Life. And then we find out that if you kill death, you become death and become the new Grim Reaper and the ruler of eternity. And that's what the fox guy did, and he gave everyone pillows, and he made it into such a heavenly place instead of like a hellscape. He made it really nice, gave everyone pillows, because that's all he really wanted. He didn't like all the dust mites that were there, he just wanted a soft pillow. But Finn had to go through so much just to find Jake. He had to fight all these sort of hell angels, and even an enemy from his past was there who wanted to kill Jake. And there were so many different references to characters throughout this entire, like, Adventure Time Distant Lands. But in this episode specifically, we saw so many background characters just dotted around in this hellscape. So it was quite upsetting to see how many characters actually passed at this time in the series. And it was just, I don't know, it's just upsetting to see. We also got to look at Old Man Finn, and they got to change into whoever they wanted to, and Finn turned into a completely different character at one point, which was a nice reference to like the multiverse and stuff like that. But anyway, I thought this episode was really cool because it ended with the fox guy giving Finn the chance to get reincarnated, and Jake was going to go back to the 50th layer, and they were going to give each other up and let each other be happy, because Finn wanted to reincarnate with Jake, but Jake was happy in the 50th layer. Jake was happy just vibing there. But Jake has a realization that Finn shouldn't be on his own, and he wants to be with Finn. He likes adventuring with Finn. So he runs after him with a heartwarming ending, with Finn being confused with why Jake followed him, but them being reincarnated together to have a new life together, and a new life full of adventures. And Jake says the most heartwarming, most heartfelt line in the entire series, where he just wants to be with his brother. Adventuring with you is just so heartwarming. It made me cry when seeing them separate. It made me cry again, or even harder, when I saw them reunite and gonna be reincarnated together. I don't know why. I've seen that clip on TikTok so many times, and I've watched all of Adventure Time, and I accept Distant Lands and accept Stakes. And I was just looking at it like, I don't remember this. Why haven't I seen this? And here it is. It is a HBO Max exclusive show, and that's why I haven't seen it. But it was just really heartwarming to see that no matter what, no matter through even death, thick and thin, they're going to stay together. They're going to continue adventuring and be a happy brothership. And this is also tied for first. I don't know which one's better, this one or the Marceline one. I really like the music in the Marceline one, but I think this one as a whole, with our two main characters going through all this, just perfect. But episode 4 perfectly sits at number 4 with Wizard City. Peppermint Butler is just another inexperienced wizard school student when a mysterious event happens in his school. So this one is Peppermint Butler was hit by like a potion in Principal Bubblegum's lab and changed into a child. The evil spirit Peppermint Butler is still inside him and keeps coming out, talking to him, telling him that he should be doing better, should be doing all this, that, and the other to just be better and bring Peppermint Butler back. But this guy on screen here is a bully, and he has a brother and a friend, and he goes missing. They blame it on Peppermint Butler because of how much he was bullying Peppermint Butler, so they thought, it was an act of retaliation, and Peppermint Butler has been seen using dark magic. We have the teachers using Peppermint Butler to drink this magic juice, which turns him into a big kaiju, but his best friend, which he hated to start with, but the more he was forced to hang out with, actually grew a bond with and grew to like, and he brought him back to being normal Peppermint Butler, or the younger Peppermint Butler, should I say. And they just continue doing wizard school stuff together. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like the wizard episodes. I'm sorry. I don't like the Wizard City. I don't like Peppermint Butler. I don't like all these Wizard episodes. I found them boring. I majority of the time skipped past them or turned Adventure Time off when they were on. There is a really cute axolotl characters here though. I don't know why, but there's also a super realistic cat at this wizard school. But this episode was by far the worst one. If I could put it at 5, I would. Because putting it at 4 seems way too generous, but there is only 4 episodes, so that is as low as I can put it. I don't know, I just feel like there is other characters they could have focused on, other characters that they could have made a whole special about, instead of Peppermint Butler just going back to the wizard school. I thought it was really boring and a really big cop-out and really big cheap-out. I don't know, it just wasn't the episode for me, and I much enjoyed the first 3 episodes. The last one had me going on my phone, continuing with work, doing other jobs that needed to be done, and I wasn't focusing on it as much. So, I don't know, the last one was just boring and didn't have a story that interested me, it didn't have characters that interested me, it didn't have this, that, and the other, you know? Like, every other episode had characters that I was interested in, had characters that I was happy watching an episode about. I just don't think Peppermint Butler has that big of a fan base to deserve his own episode or a 44-minute special about him going back to wizard school. I could be wrong. The wizard school episodes could be really good. The wizard episodes could be really good and be fan favorites. But for me, I just think they're a waste, and I really don't like it. But time to review the series as a whole. Adventure Time Distant Lands. Did it need to be made? No. Was the episodes good? Some of them. Did I enjoy watching it? Yes. I enjoyed episode 2 and 3 the most. Episode 1 was okay, and episode 4 was dog shit. I'm really upset that it ended with this awful taste in my mouth, with this really bad Peppermint Butler episode, because we had 3 solid episodes right before that one. I would have preferred them to order it a little better, so we would have had the Finn and Jake one first, BMO second, Marceline third, and then Peppermint Butler maybe last. I would still put Peppermint Butler last, but I don't know. I just think no matter where you put it, it brings down the series as a whole, so I can't give it the good scores of 8, 9, and 10, because only 2 episodes, I think, were pretty much perfect. I really liked episode 2 and 3. They were perfect in my eyes. They were really good conclusions or really good continuations to characters we knew and love. I enjoyed it, and I don't think it ruined the characters at all. I don't think it changed them. I think it just added a little bit extra to their story. It was a good continuation, and I'm glad HBO Max didn't do the Futurama and completely ruin it. I'm glad that they kept it to the original source. I'm glad that they didn't change anything too drastically. But I'm still upset with the Peppermint Butler episode leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I don't even like peppermints in real life. I don't like the peppermint sweets. So that just upset me a little bit, because the other 3 were bangers. The music was good, animation was good, voice acting was good, the stories were predictable, but they were still wholesome and meaningful. The only story I couldn't predict was Finn and Jake's, episode 3. The rest of them I predicted and was all stereotypes, all stories done over and over again in media, all stories that have had their sort of time in media. But Finn and Jake's one, I couldn't predict that one. I didn't see where that one was going at all. It just felt like another Adventure Time episode. And each one of these just felt like another Adventure Time episode, and that's what I wanted from this series. I just wanted it to keep the Adventure Time sort of feeling alive, and I'm so happy that it did that. Overall, I'm going to give this series a 7 out of 10. The Peppermint Butler episode and the BMO episode really bring it down in sort of story-wise and predictality and character-wise. I just don't think they were that strong of an episode, with BMO's origin introducing us to a load of new characters. They did flesh out the characters, and they did give us enough time to get to know them and care for them, but I don't know, introducing us to these new characters and never showing them again seemed a little bit suspicious to me, and just where are they now? Are they okay? Because it was definitely a prequel episode, as we saw young Finn and Jake at the end. But overall, Am I still going to watch Adventure Time Fiona and Cake when it comes out tomorrow? Yes. Do I still love Adventure Time? Yes. So other than that, hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.